Let's get ready for Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
All right.
Hey.
Okay. So much happening. It's unbelievable. The market is absolutely crazy. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Let's do it.
So there's a 99% chance that the Fed's going to cut the rate a quarter a point on the 29th of this month. So there's a lot of things that have been happening because of the government shutdown. The Fed doesn't have any of these reports that it usually uses to determine what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So they don't have any of these reports.
Do you think they read them anyway?
Do they read them? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because whatever they do, they correct it 2 weeks later. But they don't have these reports. However, one thing we do see, and it's pretty clear, is that the job market is weakening. And the job market weakening freaks the Fed out. So it really is extra encouragement for a rate cut. Now, the reason they don't like rate cuts is because they're concerned about inflation. Because if they cut rates, it's going to stimulate the market. And then inflation comes back and inflation erodes it all again. And it's just a double whammy.
Yep.
So weakening job market will outweigh that inflation at this particular point. So there's a 99% chance. Let's take a look at that chart if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do that. Let's bring it up real quick and see what we've got. So there is the Fed watch. So this is October. And if you can see, there's a 99% chance right there, Fed meeting. And that's pretty much a guarantee.
Well, and we can show a little bit right here. So where it says current target rate is 400 to 425, right? So that's the current Fed rate.
Yeah.
And this is 375 to 400. So that's showing you that at a quarter point is 99%. So we won't get more, we won't get less, right?
Right. Now we can move on to December, because as things go on, I think they're still a little concerned about that. So now we have December, and what do we got there? 80, what is that?
94%. And 94% that we're going to drop another quarter point down to 350 to 375, right? So
and that was 88% just a few days ago. So it's gaining.
It was 88% just a few minutes ago when I first brought it up. So by the end of the day, it might be 99.
It's moving as we do this. So listen, here's the thing. Where the market is sharp right now. People are looking to jump in and refinance. But I do want to say something that I've found fascinating, and I'm not crazy about it, but it is reality. With rates dropping, who can benefit the most in refinancing? VA and FHA. Conventional buyers are not getting the advantage that the FHA and the VA buyers are getting, or the VA clients are getting.
Let's dig into that for me. What does that mean? Do you mean somebody, because I can refinance from conventional to VA if I want to, or vice versa?
You could.
So what
you'd be better off to do that in many cases.
Yeah. So getting into a VA or FHA is better today. As far as
I think yes, VA and FHA are better interest rates. Now you have to take a lot of things into consideration, because you have mortgage insurance on FHA. It may not go away. You have a VA funding fee if you're not exempt. So those things have to be taken into consideration as well. However, when we're just looking at interest rates, it's easy for me to take a client that's got a VA rate currently right now at say 7%. And drop them into the 5s. And it's well worth it. They'll save hundreds of dollars. But a conventional loan, even at 7%, dropping it to 6.2, 6.3, and adding that cost onto the mortgage is very close. And I am telling you right now, I know a lot of lenders are telling these folks to refinance right now. I think conventional people that have those loans in place or may want to get rid of their PMI need to hold off for the next 2 Fed cuts to really see the benefit, because right now you're not going to want to do it. And then in 3 months from now, 2 months from now, if things start to settle down, and I really think the best time for that might be February, March. That's
I was
my
going to say
prediction
that.
at
Yeah.
this point. But I think by that time, things should have settled down. So people that have conventional loans on their current residence right now, considering refinancing, I just think unless you're in the high sevens or mid sevens, probably not the best time for you.
Yeah.
FHA, VA, definitely.
Got it. Got it. And I said, potentially going into an FHA might be a positive. I was reminded recently that you can never get rid of PMI on an FHA.
Well, you can if you put 10% down.
On a FHA?
Yeah. If you put
Oh.
10% down, the mortgage insurance can go away. Now, it takes some time, but the fact of the matter is that
So if I do 20% down, it can go away or no?
no, you're still going to have it. Now, it reduces the factor, the
Mhm.
monthly factor, but it only reduces it from 0.55 to 0.5.
But it can
So
never go away if I
not
put down
going away.
20.
It's not going away. That's correct.
But if I put down 10, then it can eventually go away.
It'll go away. But
That is the weirdest thing, man. I'm
but
sorry.
the average calculation on that is about 11 years. So it's good. However, but listen, that sounds negative, but it's not negative because even on a conventional loan, for you to get from 90% loan to value to 78% loan to value, which is when your mortgage insurance goes off, not at 80,
Right.
it would still take you about 11 years. Now, that's not taking consideration of appreciation, but
Right.
that would be the same for FHA as well.
Right.
So FHA loans are going to appreciate it. The homes are going to appreciate it the same as anything else. So I don't think it matters. I think right now, any client that could qualify for conventional or FHA has to examine all of the options.
I always
Because-
look at all the options.
and here's another thing. Let's say you're putting down 5% on a conventional loan and you're struggling for your 5% in your closing costs. Well, the seller can only pay up to 3% toward your closing costs on that. So it doesn't allow me to do a lot to buy the rate down. It
Mhm.
might pay the closing costs, but on an FHA loan, I can get 6%
Yep.
if I can get the seller to pay it.
Yep.
That pays all the closing costs, allows me to buy that rate down to
Mhm.
avoid that client having to refinance in the future. So in a sense, I'm saving the client, let's say 6 to 8, maybe $10,000 from
Sure.
a future refinance, and the seller is funding it. That's using a lender that can help you structure your transaction correctly.
You bring up a great point there. And I think I know what I'm doing in this business and I learn
know
stuff
you
all
do.
the time, right? I learn stuff all the time. I made the mistake of not refinancing, back in 21, 22 when rates were at 3%. Now my rate's 4%, 4.125, I think. So it's not a bad rate, right?
No,
But I was
that's
like,
a good rate.
I can only save 1.5 points. It's probably not worth the money. I'm not going to stay in my house another 10 years, blah, 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 blah. And I talked myself out of it. Well, dang it. I regret that now because I could have probably not just saved myself money, but paid off my loan faster.
Yeah, you
And-
could have. And you know what, though? Isn't it that what's the story? The cobbler doesn't fix his own shoes or
Yeah,
whatever.
The cobbler's kids go without shoes. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, being totally transparent, I did the same thing on one of my rental properties. I've got a 5% rate on that one rental property, but
Mhm.
it's getting so close to being paid off. I'm like, don't do it. And in hindsight, I was stupid. I should have
Yeah.
done it.
Yep. Should have done
So
it. Yep.
sometimes we don't even take our own advice.
Well, and honestly, I will say it's a slight pain in the butt getting a refinance done, getting all my paperwork together. And at that time, I was extremely busy working with clients and helping them get their stuff done. And I left I was like, I'll get to it. And I never got around to it and decided not to, et cetera. So,
Well,
but hey,
that happens.
yeah, it does. So great advice, man. Talk to your lender or talk to a lender about the facts. Honestly, I always tell people you should talk to more than one person because people give you their advice. That's their opinion. Somebody else is going to give you slightly different advice. Listen to it and then decide what you want to do,
Very true. However, if you come to me, you'll always get the right advice.
For sure.
So there's one other thing that I think is important for people that are considering refinancing, because I think right now veterans are being scammed by a lot of these big lenders right now. And some of them, you're going to have to be very careful because they're easily convincing you. I hear their techniques and it's unbelievable. So be very cautious if you're a veteran and you're thinking about refinancing. Same with FHA. However, I'm not telling you that it's not the right thing to do, but here's what I would suggest you do. If you want my help, feel free to call me. You can call whoever you want, but call me. We'll analyze it. The great thing about refinancing for FHA and VA right now is that if you do it right now and we close in November, you will skip November payment and you'll skip December payment. So now you're going into Christmas. So even if you save, let's say you saved $150 to $250 a month. Okay. Some people may say 150 is not enough. Well, over the life of the loan, it might be enough. And then if you skip a payment or two, you add that in and you factor that break-even period in there, and it really extends it quite a bit and gives you a sense of relief over the holidays. So give us a call. We're always there to help.
Great point, my friend. Great point. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
any other big news coming up?
Well, I think, yes, it is. I'm going to be going out of town. So you and I will be doing this on Tuesday of on Monday. So stay tuned on Tuesday. Don't think we lost our mind.
It's going to be the Tuesday Mortgage Minute.
There it is. So listen, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather. And if you have any questions, Tom can help you in all 50 states. I can help you in all 50 states. You've got two professionals here that will always give you the right and honest and truthful advice. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Tom.
Well, see you, bro.